So this is the dataset that we'll be using for our rapid minor testing. Like I said, we were trying to test the readiness of CUT students for online learning. It was a questionnaire that was administered between March and April of 2020. And we only sent it to Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment, and IT students. It was administered on SurveyMonkey. As you can see here, 3,264 students responded. So go through the question we asked them. We're asking them to enter the student numbers because the findings of this survey was going to inform decisions such as providing students with laptop. So by getting the student number, it was possible to move back and identify the student other details. Ethical clearance through the faculty, the university and the faculty structures was attained. So this was a fully official research, which I'm the one who actually carried out the actual study. The next question we're asking, the second question we're asking the students is to tell us where they live. And we classified those into the following categories. It was within Bloom City, in other cities, in township setup, or in the rural areas. And we provided them with an opportunity to state other. And as you can see from these results, majority of the students with 24% are those that live in Bloom. There's a quite a high number of students who chose others. And from the data, we could tell they did indicate actually what others meant. But then we asked them a question if they have a quiet place to study from. As you can see, these were the results in form of bar chart. 57.7% of them said yes, 42% said no. There's another question. We're asking them to select the department. Like I said, this was only for our faculty. So we listed for them the departments. Majority of the students came from the department of IT, followed by electrical, then mechanical. Again, you can see the results here in actual percentages and the numbers. The next question we're asking them to tell us the program they were taking. Since this was open-ended, we don't have a bar chart for it. We asked them the year of study. Majority of first years who responded. It doesn't mean that majority of students in the faculty are first years. We also asked them if they own a smartphone. And from my previous sentence, this was very critical for us to make a decision of their readiness to study online. At that time, also the university wanted to give them data, which is as continuing to date. So we wanted to find out for them which of the network does not work for them, because then we didn't want CUT to sign a contract with a network that will end up only accommodating a few students. Not surprisingly, telecom was the highest, where the students said it will not work for them. The most favorable would have been Vodacom, which means that for most people, Vodacom would work. There were other questions. This one is also very critical. We're asking them if they own a computer for obvious reason. To do online for some of the courses, you need a computer. And as you can see now, problems. Many of them did not own a computer. They may look less, but the 8% is quite high. But we also asked them what kind of computer they own, because sometimes some of the computers will not necessarily be appropriate for some engineering and IT courses. So I will be sharing this document with you, but this was important so that you can understand where the data set that I'm giving you comes from. And before I stop here, you'll notice that this was also very tricky because most of the students use smartphones for the access. So if you're giving them huge video files to expect them to survive on their data, then that would be and not a good move for university. So this was an interesting research, and I will be providing with all this data for us to use. So stop sharing this. Then now I will share my rapid minor. Please ensure you only watch this after you've looked at the rapid minor videos I just provided, because then it won't make sense. You'll get lost. Because in that rapid minor video, the lady explained different panels, how you use data for different, how you access data for different parts of the model. So for example, she talked about under design, screen results, screen table, and she even went ahead to give a simple model. So I'm going to stick at the design phase. I'm going to import the data. This is a data set that I will be providing to you. I've saved it on my computer. So once you get yours, also save it on the computer. You go through these steps that we saw. And when you reach here, it's asking you, remember the lady said you need to create a data repository, and already created mine. So I'll just replace the one and created earlier. In your case, since it's the first time, there will be nothing to replace. So you just create a new one with the appropriate name you want. So here we have our data, the 3,000 and something records, massive. As you can see, I did remove student numbers to ensure confidentiality of the data. It will not be surprising if some of student numbers actually belongs to some of us in this class. And like we said, you can look at statistics. Remember in the data analysis, we said that you need to do some preliminary statistics of your data. And for example, if you look at the first parameter, which is the residential address where the students currently live, here we have the data here with some bars, and you can always look at details. Click on those buttons and see the details. This one was asking them if they have a quiet place to study. Here it is, the results, the department where they come from. Again, you'll notice it's in this order. Like I said, if you click details here, you'll notice the IS number. It's the Department of IT. Here it is. Okay. So you see now, for us to just have a descriptive, how does our data look like? Rapid Minor does a very good job for us. In the video also, there was a way, or they explained where you can go to visualization, different visualization of the data. Here it's even giving us word cloud, and you can play around with different types of data. You can identify specific columns and then draw the graphs as you wish. I wasn't planning to focus on this, but remember that towards the end of the lecture, I did say you need graphs. So here we are, you can draw different types of graphs using this data. So the next video was talking about table preparations. And this is one place where you can do data analysis using bivariates, in other words, more than one variable of your data. I'll just show three things which you could do. For instance, let's try transformation. And remember this is a lot of data. I wanted us to transform data using where the students live. Okay, so let's see, it's this one. So we say we would like to do a filter. We would like to, for the time being, to look at students who live in Bloom City and do some analysis about them. So we can say we're looking for students whose response contains, let's say Bloom. Please remember, it's case sensitive. Voila, there we go. Our values have reduced from over 3,000, as you can see at the bottom here. 785 students indicating that they live within Bloom City. And you can confirm this transformation and use this to do something like pivot. So the pivot, we would like to know what is the relationship between students owning a laptop and the year of study. Play around with things. Let's say, or they have a quiet place. Let's do quiet place because it's a very important one. Students who have a quiet place to study, have a laptop. Let's drag laptop. Do you own a laptop? Okay. But we always please remember you need a column to aggregate, on which to aggregate the values. So we're going to choose, you own a laptop. Do you have a quiet place to study? We would like to use a year of study because we know that's universal. You either first year, second year, or third year. Voila, there we go. So here we're saying students who said they do not own a laptop. 161 of them said yes to they have a quiet place to study from. And another 107 said they don't. And there are two ways of looking at this data. You can look at it in the form of a table, or it draws for us a graph. The graph, like I said, picture speaks 1,000 words. You see, this is easier to interpret. So the first cluster says the students who said they own a laptop. Sorry, no, they don't own a laptop. 161 of them, see the blue here. The blue is they have a quiet place. And then as much as we may not at this stage draw serious conclusion, but it looks like the students who own a laptop also, many of them, 341 of them, have a quiet place to study from. And you can always change, this is counting the numbers. Sometimes you can also change into percentages. And you see again, percentages are stronger, give a stronger picture than just numbers. So you're saying 62% of students who said yes to owning a laptop, and yes to having a quiet place are much higher in this case. So you see now, for us to analyze this data, we needed to have had fundamental questions that we want to ask ourselves using this data. And that's how you can decide, oh, I'm going to group by and I'm going to aggregate by, because you know exactly the questions you want to ask yourself. I'll be giving you a few exercises using this same data set so that we learn more about how to do thorough preparation of our data and analysis. And I'll do one more lecture on how to interpret that data using auto models. So I'll stop here for now. Thank you.